Welcome to the English Boost podcast. So you know that feeling, right? You're sitting at your desk, you've got your headphones on, and you are just absolutely crushing an audio lesson.
Oh, yeah. The best feeling. You feel completely unstoppable.
Exactly. Every word is crystal clear, you understand the pronunciation, and you feel like a total linguistic genius. So to celebrate, you turn on a movie or maybe a new series without subtitles.
And then reality hits.
Right. Within like 30 seconds, you are completely and utterly lost. It just sounds like the actors are speaking a totally different language.
It's that massive wave of frustration that just crashes right over you.
Yeah, and you start thinking, well, my English must be failing. I'm just bad at this. But today, we're jumping into some incredible source material that proves your ears aren't broken at all.
No, not at all. You've just stumbled into an entirely different layer of the language, one that relies heavily on speed, raw emotion, and a lot of hidden context.
Right, because it's the moment where the training wheels finally come off.
Yeah.
You step away from those carefully engineered learning materials, and suddenly you're in the wild.
Yeah, the rules of engagement shift dramatically in the real world, and our goal today is to really deconstruct exactly why that happens.
So the source material we're exploring today breaks this all down using this highly realistic, super fast-paced scenario. It's a deeply awkward coffee shop drama involving two friends, Anna and Jake.
It's such a great example, too, because to understand why movie English is so hard, you have to look at the messy reality of how real people behave under pressure.
I mean, I always think of textbook English as this sterile laboratory environment. You know, everything is measured out perfectly in little beakers.
Right, the sentences are clean, they're isolated, totally safe.
Exactly. But movie English, or conversational English, is like cooking in a chaotic restaurant kitchen during the dinner rush.
Oh, totally. Pots are boiling over, people are shouting.
Ingredients flying everywhere, things just get incredibly messy. And to understand the language of that kitchen, we have to look at the actual pressure the cooks are under.
And in our coffee shop scenario, the pressure is immediate. So we've got Anna. And Anna has just faked being sick to avoid her old boss.
Which is already a stressful lie to maintain.
Very stressful,
Yeah.
because this isn't just a normal boss. This is someone who constantly crosses professional boundaries, texting her for unpaid quick favors that just eat up her entire evening.
The worst kind of boss.
Right. So she claims she's ill to escape him. She's trying to set a boundary that she's honestly terrified to enforce. But right now, her current situation is that she's sitting in a coffee shop directly across from his office.
Eating a massive slice of cheesecake, no less.
Yeah. Which, strategically speaking, is a completely catastrophic plan.
It's so flawed. Just a terrible hiding spot.
And then her friend Jake arrives late because he's been stuck in brutal traffic. So both of them are already operating with these elevated heart rates.
The adrenaline is already there.
Exactly. And suddenly, right as Jake sits down, the boundary crossing boss walks into the exact same coffee shop. Panic instantly ensues.
Because in a situation like that, your adrenaline spikes. You are not going to carefully enunciate something like, excuse me, Jake, but I believe the man who formerly employed me has just entered the establishment.
No one talks like that. Your breathing gets shallow, you panic, and your brain just goes straight into survival mode.
So the biological response actually drives the linguistic shift.
Precisely. When human beings are stressed or afraid or even really excited, we take shallower breaths. We literally have less air to work with.
Wow, okay. I never thought about the air supply part of it.
Yeah, so because you have less air, you instinctively cram more words into shorter exhalations. Emotion literally degrades formal grammar.
Right. People use humor as a defense mechanism, or they interrupt to gain control of the situation.
Exactly. The language physically bends to fit the biological panic.
So we're in this chaotic kitchen, right? The adrenaline is pumping, the air is running out, and that naturally changes the physical shape of the words coming out of their mouths.
Yes. Even if you, as a learner, know the vocabulary perfectly on paper, your ear is absolutely not expecting the mutated shape of the sound.
Because native speakers don't say every word separately.
Right. Linguists call this connected speech. Native speakers, especially when they're moving at the speed of emotion, do not pronounce every word as a separate, distinct island. They just let the sounds bleed into one another.
It's basically an issue of biological efficiency, right?
Yeah.
Walk us through what that actually sounds like in the middle of this coffee shop panic.
Sure. Let's take a really simple phrase Anna might use when she spots the boss. Something like, "Did you see that?"
Okay, so in our sterile laboratory, that's 4 clear beats. Did you see that?
Exactly. But in reality, moving the tongue from the D sound into the Y sound in you It just takes a microsecond too long.
So the mouth just take a shortcut.
It does. The sounds physically crash together and create this J sound. So, did you becomes didja. Didja. See that?
Didja, wow. So if you're a learner and you're waiting to hear did and you, that shortcut essentially creates a ghost vocabulary word.
Right. A word that doesn't exist in any dictionary. And it
Now,
happens constantly.
give me another example from the scene.
So when Jake realizes the danger they're in, the proper textbook sentence in his brain is, "We have got to get out of here."
But he doesn't have the breath for all those syllables.
Exactly. What comes out in this rush of limited breath is, "We got to get out of here." Got to morphs into gotta, and out of slides right into outa.
The source material points out a few other massive ones too, like want to becoming wanna, or let me turning into lemmy.
Well, Lemmy's a huge one.
But I want to pause here just for a second and channel the frustration of a learner. Because the natural instinct is to hear this and think, isn't this just lazy speaking?
That is such a common reaction, yeah.
Right. Like, why should I emulate people slurring their words together? Doesn't that just make me sound uneducated?
We really have to completely detach the concept of laziness from connected speech. It is not lazy at all. It is the natural, intended rhythm of conversational fluency.
So it's about flow rather than precision.
Exactly. When a native speaker says "lemme" instead of "let me," they are prioritizing the emotional flow of the conversation over robotic precision.
That makes sense. If you were sitting in a panicked coffee shop and enunciated every single syllable perfectly,
Right. Gods. Two. Get out. Oof. Here.
right, you wouldn't sound educated. You would sound like a robot. You'd be breaking the social contract of that emotional moment.
It's entirely about matching the energy of the room.
But there's definitely a trapdoor here, because you can't just apply this chaotic kitchen rule to every single room you walk into.
No, absolutely not. The source notes a really specific boundary with the phrase, "What are you doing?"
Right, which often compresses down to what y'all doing.
Yes. But what you doing carries a very strict intimacy rule. Context is everything here. You only use that with friends, family, or in highly relaxed environments.
So if you walk into a formal job interview, you shake the hiring manager's hand and you say, "So, what you doing?"
You have severely misread the room.
You're basically wearing the wrong clothes for the occasion. It's like what you doing is sweatpants and what are you doing is a tailored suit.
I love that analogy. You definitely cannot wear sweatpants to a board meeting.
Right. So mastering connected speech isn't about learning bad habits. It's really just about expanding your wardrobe so you have the right outfit for the emotional weather.
That's a perfect way to frame it. But the physical blending of sounds, that's really only the first layer of the problem.
Yeah, because even if you magically slow the audio down and you catch every single word perfectly, there's this whole psychological game being played.
The casual expressions. People use them under pressure, and they carry massive hidden emotional weight.
And they often draw on imagery that feels totally disconnected from what's actually happening, like Jay's reaction when Anna tries to pretend she doesn't see her boss by the espresso machine.
Right, Jake looks right at her and says, "Don't play innocent."
Which sounds like a line from, I don't know, a gritty courtroom drama, not two friends eating cheesecake.
Literally, it means do not act like you are without guilt.
But that courtroom drama vibe is actually the whole point, isn't it?
It is. By using "don't play innocent," Jake is playfully raising the stakes. He's telling her, "I see through your performance. Don't pretend you don't know what I'm talking about."
It's an inherently relational phrase, like if your roommate eats the last slice of pizza and then gives you this blank stare when you ask about it.
Exactly. You look at them and say, "Don't play innocent."
Okay, so that defensive wall of don't play innocent naturally leads to the next defense mechanism, avoiding the story entirely.
Right. Jake pushes her on why she didn't just tell her boss no in the first place. And Anna just sighs and says, "I didn't want to get into the whole thing."
Didn't want to get into the whole thing. That phrase is just a giant white flag of emotional exhaustion.
That's exactly what it is. Getting into the whole thing signals to the listener that the context is this tangled, messy web.
And the speaker simply does not possess the bandwidth to unpack it all right now.
It's the ultimate conversational shortcut to just avoid reliving a really stressful experience.
But then, if they do have the energy, they might use the complete opposite phrase, which is honestly a giant red flag.
Oh yes, Anna uses this one when Jake brings up all those unpaid favors. She just snaps. Don't even get me started.
Don't even get me started. When someone drops that, they are actively warning you that their emotional reservoir on this topic is totally overflowing.
They're signaling, "Look, I possess enough frustration right now to complain about this for the next 45 minutes if you push me.
It's such a fascinating paradox, too, because they're telling you not to start the conversation while simultaneously showing you exactly how much they desperately want to talk about it.
It's a verbal equivalent of a beware of dog sign.
Totally. But it's not always these long, dramatic phrases doing all the heavy lifting. The source material points out that tiny single words act like emotional landmines, too.
Words that look completely insignificant on a piece of paper. Things like, I mean, fine or so.
Let's look at the psychology behind those tiny words. They basically act as the glue of conversational attitude.
They really do. Like when Anna tries to justify her lie, she says, I mean, I feel bad saying no.
That little, isn't about defining a word,
Yeah.
obviously.
It's a verbal cushion. It softens the statement. It makes her sound vulnerable rather than defensive.
Okay, and what about when Jake finally agrees to help her escape this mess? He says, fine, let me think. He certainly isn't saying the situation is a fine quality.
Not at all. Fine in this context is literally the sound of surrender. He is yielding to the chaos.
Wow. And the most dangerous one has to be so. Jake just leans back and says, so your master plan was to fake an illness and hide out across the street.
Right, by launching the sentence with, so Jake is pulling all the pieces together into this teasing critical summary.
He's holding her terrible plan up to the light for everyone to see.
It's just this tiny word that instantly puts Anna on the defensive.
Now, if I'm a listener sitting at home, I'm thinking, how on earth do I memorize all of this? So, boy means teasing summary, fine means surrender, is a cushion.
It sounds impossible.
Right. How does a learner absorb all of this without just completely drowning in information overload?
Well, the secret is you don't memorize them. You cannot brute force your way into cultural psychology with a stack of flashcards.
So what do you do instead?
You learn them by observing the human reaction. You watch the physical exhaustion in Jake's shoulders when he says, fine. You hear the defensive pitch in Anna's voice when she says, I mean.
Because our brains are already highly advanced pattern recognition machines.
Exactly. If you stop trying to translate the dictionary definitions and just start watching the humans, your brain will naturally map those specific emotions to those small words over time.
Which brings us to arguably the most complex layer of all, tone.
Oh, tone changes everything.
What happens when the dictionary definition is completely irrelevant because the words mean the exact opposite of what they say?
Welcome to sarcasm. It is a massive pillar of everyday conversational English. It basically acts as a complex social lubricant.
Like when Jake evaluates Anna's terrible escape plan, he just says, yeah, no, it's kind of terrible.
Yeah, no, two complete opposites glued together. It is designed to give a language learner a massive migraine.
It really is. It seems so contradictory.
It does, but it serves a really vital psychological function. Humans generally dislike direct conflict. So acts as a buffer.
It signals, I hear you, we are on the same team.
Exactly. And then the no delivers the actual judgment. So yeah, no usually just means no, but with a shock absorber attached to it.
And the tone he uses changes everything, right? Because if he says, your plan is terrible, with a really flat, serious voice, it's just a brutal insult.
But he doesn't say it like that. He says it with this dry, teasing bounce.
So the tone completely rewrites the intention.
Yeah.
Because he uses that sarcastic tone, the insult transforms into a bonding moment between friends.
It's like tone is a secret, invisible subtitle track that only native speakers can read.
That's a great way to put it. The visible words say one thing, but the invisible tone subtitle tells the real story.
Like the confident voice joke the source highlights. Jake boldly declares, we can go out the side door.
He sounds like an action hero in that moment.
He really does.
Yeah.
But then Anna asks if there actually is a side door, and Jake just admits, I just said it with confidence.
The humor lives entirely in the gap between the tone and the reality. The literal meaning of his words is basically irrelevant. The joke is the tone.
You can see this secret subtitle track even in a single name, too.
Oh, yeah. When Anna says Jake slowly, like Jake, the invisible subtitle says, you are a really good friend.
But if she snaps Jake sharply, the subtitle says, you are crossing a line right now.
And if she breathes it frantically, it means, help me right now. It's the exact same 4 letters, but 3 completely different realities based entirely on the music of the language.
It's incredible how much weight a single syllable can carry.
Okay, so knowing all this theory is fantastic, but practically speaking, what is the strategy here?
Right, how do you actually use this?
Because the next time you sit down on the couch to watch a movie, You can't be analyzing the biological efficiency of mouth movements in real time
No, absolutely not.
or calculating the cultural psychology of, yeah, no, while the scene is flying by, how do we survive the chaos?
The source offers this profoundly freeing strategy, and it's called layered listening.
Layered listening. I like the come of that, man.
It requires abandoning the kitchen metaphor entirely. Instead, you need to think of listening like adjusting the manual focus on a camera lens.
Okay, I'm picturing a camera lens.
The golden rule is this. Stop trying to keep every single thing in focus at once. You have to stop translating word for word.
Because if you pause to translate word number 2, the movie is already on word number 12.
Exactly. You're constantly chasing a car you can never catch. So instead, you adjust the camera in 4 specific layers. Layer 1 is the situation.
So that's like your lighting.
Right. Before anyone even speaks, look at the screen. Where are they? They're in a coffee shop. What's happening? Well, someone unwanted just walked in.
So you already know the entire genre of the scene before a single word is spoken.
Exactly. Then you move to layer 2, which is the emotion. This is your framing. Listen to the music of the voices. Are they panicked, amused, angry?
You don't even need vocabulary for this part. Human body language and volume tell you the story. Anna is frantic, Jake is amused but trying to help.
Right. Now, layer 3 is keywords. This is your main subject in focus. Stop trying to catch all the prepositions and the tiny grammar joints.
Focus the lens on the heavy, meaningful nouns and verbs. Things like boss, sick, side door, run.
If you understand the tense situation, you feel the panicked emotion, and you catch the words boss and run, your brain will automatically build the grammar around those pillars.
Wow, that takes so much pressure off. But what about that 4th layer? The really messy, blended didja and gotta stuff we talked about?
That's layer 4, fast sounds.
Yeah.
Think of this as the background blur in your camera shot. You do not need it to be perfectly sharp to understand the picture. Once those first 3 layers are solidly in place, you just let the blended sounds wash over you. Over time, your brain will passively decode them just through context alone.
I love that approach. It gives the listener permission to just blur out the background without feeling like they are somehow failing at English.
To put that layered listening into practice, the source also provided a really great bonus phrase, bank of cinematic survival phrases.
Let's test this out. Okay, if I'm watching a drama and Jake looks at Anna's terrible plan and says, I'm not buying it, I'm guessing he's not talking about paying for her cheesecake.
He is not. He's talking about truth. This phrase highlights the transactional nature of American English. We often treat truth and belief as commodities.
Oh, that's interesting. So when you say, I'm not buying it, you are basically saying you are trying to sell me a lie or a bad excuse.
And I refuse to purchase it.
Yeah.
It's a casual, slightly confrontational way of saying, I don't believe you at all.
Okay, what about when things get tense and Anna says, cut me some slack? I'm immediately picturing a rope here.
The imagery is exactly right. Imagine you are pulling a heavy load with a really tight rope. There's immense tension.
Right.
If someone is being overly critical or holding you to an impossibly high standard when you're already stressed, you ask them to cut you some slack.
You're asking them to loosen the rope. Just give me a break. Show some mercy.
Exactly. We all need some slack sometimes.
For sure. Now, the source includes this next one, which is incredibly common in thrillers or mysteries. I didn't see it coming.
It's the ultimate expression of being completely blindsided. It implies your focus was entirely in one direction, and the plot twist or the betrayal just hits you from the periphery.
It's a total admission of surprise.
Yeah. And finally, we have the ultimate comfort phrase, we'll figure it out.
I love this one. It's the anchor phrase of a supportive partnership in a crisis.
It really is. It acknowledges the current reality, which is we do not possess the solution right now. But it combines it with absolute forward-looking confidence.
Together, we will find a way through this mess. We'll figure it out.
Honestly, that should be the mantra for every single person listening right now.
It really should. When you fire up a movie tonight and that fast, emotional, messy, conversational English washes over you, just remember, it is not an academic test.
No, your English isn't bad. You are just learning to adjust the manual focus on your camera lens. It takes time, patience, and layered listening.
Which leads to a really fascinating final thought to chew on. We've spent this entire time establishing that mastering conversational English requires you to instinctively grasp sarcasm, right?
And decode invisible tone and understand the heavy emotional weight of tiny words.
Exactly. So does becoming truly fluent mean you aren't just memorizing a communication tool, but that you are actually required to adopt an entirely new cultural psychology?
That is a massive question. Are you just learning words, or are you learning a whole new way to think and feel in the world?
Definitely something to mull over the next time you sit down with a bowl of popcorn. Remember, don't strive for laboratory perfection. Embrace the messy, incredibly rich reality of human conversation.
Keep adjusting that focus.
Be kind to yourself and go enjoy a movie. We'll catch you next time on the English Boost podcast.